You're listening to Iceland News Review, the weekly news podcast of Iceland Review. Subscribe and tune in each Friday to get the latest from our fair shores. I'm Andy Sophia Fontaine, and these are the week's top stories in Iceland. First up on Iceland News Review, Iceland's government gets a shakeup as the former prime minister runs for president and the new prime minister has his work cut out for him. As reported, Iceland is in the middle of presidential campaign season, with elections coming up on June 1st. Last week, now former Prime Minister Katrín Jakobsdóttir announced she was resigning as Prime Minister and chair of the Left Green Party in order to throw her hat in the ring. The most recent polling puts her in the lead, not far ahead of political scientist Baldur Þórhallsson and writer and former Reykjavik mayor Jón Gnarr. However, she had to remain as Prime Minister for a few more days after her announcement. This is because, well, Iceland can't not have a government. A new prime minister needed to be chosen. After days of deliberation, the new government has at last been formed. It's a little convoluted, but these are the broad strokes. Bear with me here. Our new prime minister is Bjarni Benediktsson, who used to be Minister of Foreign Affairs. Before that, he was Minister of Finance, but resigned from that position last year due to his mishandling of the sales of shares in the bank Íslandsbanki. And by that I mean it came to light he had allowed a company owned by his father to buy some of those shares. His resignation from the finance ministry post simply resulted in him switching seats with Þórdís Kolbrún Reykfjörð Gylfadóttir, who was foreign minister at the time and is now foreign minister again. Meanwhile, Progressive Party chair Sigurður Ingi Jóhannsson is the new finance minister. He used to be Minister of Infrastructure, but that position is now occupied by Svandís Svavarsdóttir of the Left Greens. She, in turn, used to be Minister of Food, Agriculture and Fisheries, but that position is now filled by Left Green MP Bjarkey Olsen Gunnarsdóttir. How has the general public received this news? Well, within hours of the announcement that Bjarni would be Prime Minister, a petition was started that stated simply, "Bjarni Benediktsson does not have my support as Prime Minister." The petition organizers point to a poll from last December, wherein he was ranked the least trusted of all government ministers, when only 16.7% said they trusted him. At the time of this writing, 36,000 people have signed this petition. That's pretty close to 10% of the total population of the country. That said, does this petition change anything? Apart from making the point that the undersigned do not support the new prime minister, not really. It's not a legally binding referendum, but an exercise in democratic participation. Even Bjarni acknowledged this to be the case, stating that people are free to express themselves in a democratic society like Iceland. In the same speech to Parliament, he reviewed the main policy points of the new government, which were, unsurprisingly, not really different from the platform of the previous government. It is, after all, the same parties in power, just different people in different ministries. And so there you have it. A new government has been formed, and the presidential race steams ahead to June 1st. Parliamentary elections will be held in the autumn of 2025, and whether the current government will last that long, or indeed continue beyond Election Day, remains to be seen. Speaking of the new government, what will this mean for the future of fin whale hunting? Interestingly, that question remains unanswered. Listeners may remember that previous Minister of Fisheries Svandís Svavarsdóttir issued a ban on fin whale hunting last June, on the day hunting season was to begin. She said she did this due to a report she had just received which outlined various ways that fin whale hunting was breaking Iceland's animal welfare laws. However, the parliamentary ombudsman ruled that the ban constituted overreach on her part and was unlawful. Nonetheless, the permit to hunt fin whales is applied for annually, and a new season is coming up. So will the new Minister of Fisheries, Bjarkey Olsen, allow the hunt to happen? When asked, she wouldn't answer, saying only that she has yet to meet the ministry's staff and get settled in. But she, like her predecessor, is on the record being opposed to fin whale hunting. In a parliamentary meeting in 2019, she stated unequivocally that fin whale meat has no market and is therefore unsustainable, especially in light of the harm it could cause to Iceland's strongest industry, tourism. Petla Norðursins, the company that holds the lease for Reykjavik's famed landmark Petlan, has submitted a proposal to Reykjavik City Council for a new attraction at the site, a virtual elevator ride into the depths of the earth to witness the interior of a volcano. According to the proposal, the site would be roughly 100 meters squared and just to the west of the Petland structure. The attraction, tentatively called Into the Volcano, would offer guests a virtual elevator ride some 2,000 meters down into the earth. The journey itself would begin at a virtual active volcano in Reykjanes, depicting lava flow and ash near Grindavik. As passengers descend into the earth, screens would depict what they would see if they could literally sink into a volcano unharmed. In addition, there would be a display showing how deep into the earth the guests are descending, what the temperature is at a given depth, and other data points. A physically present guide or a voiceover narration would explain to guests further what they are witnessing. The entire journey would take about 7 minutes. The proposal states that Petland would cover all the costs to create the exhibition and would pay the city of Reykjavik 1 million ISK per year in rent. They are asking for a 3-year trial run of the attraction. As you may know, Iceland has a national church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Iceland. And this church has a bishop. This bishop, in turn, is elected to their post by select members of the congregation, and elections for a new bishop have now begun. While about 226,000 Icelanders are registered in the church, only about 2,200 of them have the right to elect the next bishop. In this case, 3 people are in the running: Guðrún Karls Helgadóttir, Guðmundur Karl Brynjólfsson, and Elínborg Sturludóttir. What's interesting about there being 3 leading candidates is that bishop elections are a bit different from presidential elections. While whichever candidate for president gets the most votes wins, a candidate for Bishop of Iceland needs a majority of all votes cast in order to win the position. As there are 3 candidates, there stands to be a good chance for a runoff, effectively meaning 2 elections for the spot. Elections end on April 16th, so stay tuned. Lastly, on Iceland News Review, good news! The puffins have returned. Iceland's iconic bird, which adorns many a downtown souvenir, has been spotted in the East Iceland village of Borgarfjörður Eystri and the northern island of Grímsey. That's right, puffins do not live in Iceland year-round. They are migratory birds, returning to Iceland to nest and lay eggs in the spring before flying south again in the autumn. During the winter months, they spend their time ranging between the east coast of North America, the coast of the British Isles, and the Norwegian Sea. While in Iceland, they make nests in cliffs and lay eggs, hatching their young there. While these younglings are helpless at first, they will, by the autumn, join the others in the journey south, and so the circle of life continues. Next up, the weather this weekend. Friday is going to be mostly cloudy for the entire country, with moderate winds and temperatures above freezing in the south, but stronger winds and freezing temperatures in the north. There will also be rain in the southeast, but some snow in the north. Skies will begin to clear up by Friday evening and into Saturday for most of the country, with calmer winds but colder temperatures, although there may be some spots of clouds along the south coast. Clouds will begin to roll in on Saturday night, resulting in a cold, cloudy Sunday with considerable rain in the southwest. As for road conditions, bear in mind that all roads into the highlands are closed to regular traffic, so don't try heading up there unless you're in a glacier toll group or something similar. Also, avoid the eruption site at all costs, and do not stop by the site of Reykjanesbraut to photograph or film the eruption. Apart from that, roads are fairly passable all over the country, although you may run into spots of ice in the north, so drive extra careful if you're passing through there. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or X. For all your travel needs in Iceland, be sure to visit n.veður.is. That's en.vedur.is, as well as road.is and safetravel.is. Through these 3 websites, you'll get up-to-the-minute information on weather and road conditions, as well as possible incoming natural events. By staying updated through these sites, you'll not only save yourself a lot of time and money, you'll also be able to enjoy Iceland with peace of mind. That's all for me this week on Iceland News Review. Be good to each other.